Ochite, people, welcome. Welcome back to Flashlight Unity. I'm Carol J, and the video for today is why you are the way you are. I know many people don't understand or know why they are the way they are, but we're going to get into it. I'll see you on the next shot. People, Ochite, welcome. All right, this is the video. Why are you the way you are? And most people would say, well, what way am I? I'm no particular way, but, well, you are. And the way you know that you're the way you are is what we see, your actions, how you think, how you move, what's not being done, what is being done. And so let's take a dive into this particular image, this artwork that I have made from my mind's eye. And let's just take an overview. We see that there are some beings that have written agendas, and this is the way I see it, that like beings have written agenda and they are displaying it for the people. And so we're going to go into it because most people don't know that they have been programmed. Your whole life you've been programmed to behave. You've been programmed to behave, to act in a certain way, to not to go too far left, not to go too far right, not to go too far up, not to go too far down. Just they want you in the middle. Stay in the middle where it's safe. That's what they want, everybody. And they went through extremes, as we can see from the people that's holding the what do I say, the directions or the manifest plan that they've devised. They programmed you to play dumb. They don't want you to be aware. They don't want you to critically think. Oh, once again, this is the critical thinking joke. So this playing dumb part is the opposite of what I stand for. The critical thinking joke, where we shake your mind to freedom. We are trying to shake this programming off of you because it no longer serves you. It's not going to serve you now. It didn't serve you in the past. It's not going to serve you now. And it's definitely not going to serve us in the future. So it's time that we shake off the programming that has been implemented into us and our movements in the way that we think and why we are the way we are. Okay, so let's see. So far we got the program is to behave, to play dumb, to sit down and shut up. In the middle. They want you to sit down. And guess what? They got so many tactics nowadays to make you sit down. Social media it was like a gym for them to come up with or create social media where they can create apps that'll attract the masses. Oh my God, they feel like they have got this in the bag because guess what? These phones and social media has distracted the American people to all ends. I mean, it's to no ends. I mean, as you look around and you see people, just start paying attention. Look around and see people out and just in the world. See how many are actually have a phone in their hand. Just start paying attention, including yourself. Pay attention to how many times you have your phone in your hand when you're out in the world moving about. And you'll be surprised to know that it's a lot, because I did it to myself and I noticed that, yeah, I will not leave my phone. I do feel like I need my phone. And while the phone is good for some things, it's not good for everything. And when it comes to paying attention and finding out what's going on in the world, this is one of the things that the phone is not good for. When it comes to being distracted by social media and all of the funny acts and the celebrity drama and the sports, there's so many tactics that are put out into this world to keep the people distracted, and although sports teams and sports are fun, yeah, it's fun to have a sports team, but it's still part of a distraction. It's still part of a distraction. And people get so engulfed in that. Like, people will know stats to football players. I've heard men and some women describe stats, I mean, down to the T, like accurate stats, number by number, detail by detail stats to particular football players, to different teams, not just one team of football players, to multiple teams of football players. They know the stats, they know the numbers, they know everything, and yet they have no idea what's going on within their government structure, within their government system. So you tell me, how is that? Does that not sound like a distraction to you? For you to know all the stats for a player or another person, but not know what your government is up to, what they're doing, the laws that they're making, the tactics that they're implementing onto the people? This is what I'm saying, guys. We got to start critically thinking. We got to see what's presented before us. And is what's presented before us, is it helping us or is it hindering us? Because that pleasure principle that we all have, they know how to press that. They know how to press the pleasure principle. They just didn't start learning about this. They've been doing it for years, centuries even. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first implementation for what they did, and these are the guys in the middle of the screen that are actually holding the plan, that they devised for the people. And as you look at the first one, it involves education. This is where it starts. They start early, right? So, we start school, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, elementary, let's say. And so what did you learn in elementary? Can you remember, outside of the basic math and reading, can you remember anything fundamental that you learned in elementary school? No, most people can't, because, it is what it is. But the education system is what was the initial hypnotic plan, the program, because in elementary school, they taught you what they wanted you to know. They may have taught you a couple things that's like, oh, okay, you need this, because they know people need to know how to do basic math. Because if they're programming you to work for somebody else, you got to know how to do the basics for the person that they want you to work for, So they wanted you to learn the basics. You got to learn how to read, and you got to learn how to add and subtract. So they got the basics down for you. But what about the rest of the years? The middle school, the high school. What substantial did you learn? You know what I mean? What about the history? The history that they pushed on the people. Now, I don't know about you, but a lot of that history in there does not represent me or me. And I'm of African American descent. And that's debatable, the titles for all of that, but I am of African American descent, and the history that I've learned, I did not feel like it represented me, and the history that was implemented as we dig further, it's the furthest from the truth. I mean, anybody can try to argue that any kind of way that they want to, but the facts are the facts. The truth is the truth. The history that they distributed is not the truth. That's not the true history and how it occurred. But this is what they put into the schools. This is what they put inside books. This is what they made mandatory for everybody to learn. My thing is, every culture has its own uniqueness. Why is it not possible within this system for every culture to learn their culture? This is how people grow. This is how they prevent from making the same mistakes as in previous cultures, as in previous times, but for this particular system within the United States, they shun away from that. They block that. They created a system where the information that was implemented into the kids, into the school system, was of everything that they wanted to put out. They created fabricated stories, fabricated lies that they wanted the people to know and believe in. I don't even know why we have a Columbus Day. I mean, that is absolutely ludicrous, because I'm pretty sure everybody know Columbus didn't discover anything. How can you discover something where people were already there? These is the critical thinking part. And so many times, like, the people know, like, we know, everybody knows Columbus didn't discover anything. And yet, it's almost like everybody go along with the lie. why are we going along with the lies? Why are we going along with the lies? Because you know what going along with the lies does? It allows them to keep implementing more lies. And after a while, those lies become the way. It becomes the standard as normal, as we can see. Let's see. When they implemented these education systems full of the lies that they wanted the people to believe, basically what they're saying is, don't think for yourself. We're going to tell you what to think. We're going to tell you what to believe. We're going to tell you what to remember. So they got your history down pat. This is the history you need to remember. This is the information you need to remember now. This is the information you need to learn for the future. So don't think for yourself, because we got you covered. We're going to tell you everything from the past, present, and the future. And so what else did they learn? Okay, so look at the second block that shows their devised plan. It says, don't stand out. We'll tell you how to be. Don't you dare question anything we say or do or else. So they didn't want you to stand out. How many times in schools that you had to stand in line, sit at a certain desk, sit in the assigned desk? They didn't want anybody to act normal. And at some point in some schools, they would stop certain people from wearing their hair a certain way. Where they do that at? How can you possibly tell somebody how to wear their hair? And a lot of times it was their hair. Like, this is the natural structure of someone's hair. How could you possibly criticize somebody for their own hair? They're based on their culture, how the divine made them. I mean, where did they do that at? And this is another thing that's just been ignored. It's the norm. People know that it's lies. People know that it's wrong, and yet nobody's doing anything about it. Nobody is questioning it. You know, it might be for a little stir, and then they'll present something, an excuse for why this is, which is absurd. And then everything goes back to normal. It's almost like, oh, football, celebrity drama, social media. These are the things that stops us from being critically thinking, because there's so many pleasure principle tactics that are thrown in front of us that makes us feel a certain kind of way. We like, why worry about the hard stuff? Why worry about stuff that's going to affect us? Why worry about the pushback? Because, nothing's going to change. Well, with that attitude, it won't. And guess what? The more time goes on, you will be subjected to more of these plaques. You're going to have more of these plaques of their agendas that they've written down for you, that's in plain sight, that everybody pretends that they don't see and they don't know. So now you can't think for yourself. You bet not dare stand out. And you better not try to be your own self. I mean, because a lot of people are artistic. Some of the normal things that they have, go to school, go to college, get a house, a wife, a husband, a mate, have kids, a dog. A lot of that plan don't fit everybody. There's a lot of people with genuine artistic abilities, with special skills, uniqueness that they need to be expressing, but they don't emphasize that. They don't promote that. They want you programmed to be what they want you to be. And if people don't stand up, if people just buy into the program, which we know majority of the population has, because we can look at it and see. Look at the wealth or the gap in the population. How many people do you see that are actually living their dreams, that are doing actually what their hearts desire? I mean, just take a look around and answer that question. How many people do you know? Let's bring it down smaller. How many people do you know in your circle that's living their dream, doing what they desire, doing what they were called to do, doing what they were meant to do? And you know what you was meant to do because it comes easy for you. You have a desire. It doesn't feel like work. How many people can you say? As I look around, I see a lot of people working and working hard. And yet I don't see the benefits from that work provided to the people. I don't. Because I can speak for myself. This is not nothing that I'm just saying. This is something I experienced. You work and you work and you work. And the compensation for the work that you do is not comparable. It's not matching, So something's wrong with this system. So we have to get out of the system. And they created the system. They didn't just create this system nilly-willy to say, we got to form a structure for this United States. No, they created this system on purpose, because think about the system for them. Think about the system for the powers that be. Isn't that an ideal cushy system that they got there, where they can make any laws they want, they can do whatever they want, and yet they get drove around in car. They got drivers, their salary is like 6 figures. They work less. Some of them don't even come at all. There's no way for us to monitor or tune for people that's showing up for work and people that's not. So we have no way of knowing who's doing their job and who's not. But you try that. Go to your job and try not to show up and see if you get paid. See if that's going to be okay with the boss that you work for. Go to sleep on the job. Be at the job and try to go to sleep and see if that's going to work good for you. Or hire a driver. Do you get to hire a driver to take you to and fro to the job where you go to sleep? These are the things that you need to be asking yourself. The program system for you is nowhere comparable to the system for them. Start thinking critically, guys. The time is now. And so now we're going to move on down to the next plaque that they wrote for your part of your system programming, and it's about your beliefs. They created so many religions. They've created religions, and they almost force people to buy into the religions of what they believe. Religion is such a broad subject matter that nobody can really make you believe what they want you to believe. This is an individual undertaking for everybody to discernly decide what they choose to believe for their life, for their incarnation, for who they feel is their higher source, for their everything, for their inspiration, for their beliefs, for their power, for their creation. This is an individual undertaking. No one has a right to tell you what to believe. Nobody has a right to put parameters on what you believe, and nobody has a right to criticize what you believe should you decide to express it. That is an absolute violation. This is definitely one of the laws of nature. They're given to you by the divine creator. Nobody has a right to criticize what you believe, but they do it all the time. They've been doing it all the time. How many times people have to fight for what they believe in? The time is now, guys. Let's see. Okay, so they don't want anybody else to go, let's say, after belief of the beliefs that you have. And this is about religion, and it's about other things too as well. But I'm just going over the basics. You can plug in all the other things that they attempt to control as far as belief. It's people being different, people expressing themselves, because let's face it, we all look different because we supposed to. We supposed to look different. This is not supposed to be no cookie cutter world where everybody look the same, or everybody's doing the same thing, or everybody's thinking the same way. That was not the way it was supposed to be. And the way you know that is look at all the varieties of people. If the creator wanted everybody to be the same, wouldn't he have made everybody the same? We have so many different variations of people. So of course we're going to have different variations of ideas, thoughts, creativities, skill sets, talents, abilities, beliefs. Critically think, guys. It's time for us to be who we are supposed to be. And this is for each individual themselves. It's time for us to be who we are supposed to be, who we desire to be, who we want to be, and throw these tablets out. These tablets that they're holding, that they presented for you, the things that program you and to stay into your little box. Do not go against what they say, because they will shun you. For people that do stand out and try to go their own way, because majority of the population is going one way. People like to stay conformed into that group. They like to be with the group. They don't want to go outside, because it's hard for people sometimes to go their own way, because they will shun you. And they real good at shunning you. You tell me, what kind of government is that? How can one person, man, who is grass, dirt even, tell another man what he should be, where he should be, what he should think, and what he should do? How does that work? Come on, people. The man did not create man. Man is just here, just like any other man. So how can one man tell another man all the things that he should and should not be doing? He cannot, and he should not. So this is what I'm trying to get you to critically think about. And let's get to the last one. because I'm trying to hurry up. I think I went a long time on this video. So let's see. Okay, and so and if we wrap all this up, all of these things that I'm talking about here on this image was presented from a fake. They started off with creating a fake government system. A government system where they trick the people to think that it's all the people creating it. You know, they got the "we the people" on the document, and the "we the people" is like font 24. The "we the people," the size of those words are like what, 24, 48, whatever, compared to the other words on the document. And it's so funny because what people want you to see, they always make it big. I mean, think about with anything, any product, any commercial, whatever. Anytime somebody wants you to see something, that's the big font that they want you to see, because that's all they want you to pay attention to. The rest of the things that they really don't want you to see or pay attention to is really, really small, really, really small. You got to take the initiative to read that stuff, to go and look for that stuff, to kind of find that stuff and understand that stuff. So when you look at the document that says "we the people," just pay attention to how large it is. This is a play on your mindset. This is a play on your intelligence. Because if you look at the small print that's assigned to where "we the people" actually come in at, the percentage of where "we the people" come in at as far as controlling anything is so minute that it's almost unmeasurable. And if you don't believe me, just go look it up. I challenge everybody to go look up "we the people" and find out just how much we the people have a stake in any of the decision makings within this faulty government system that exists now. So this is the start of it. This was the start of it. This is how they wrapped everything up, all of their intentions, all of their plans into this great big old box and this great big old bow for how they were going to control the masses. And as I look around now, it works. It's worked and it's continued to work. And until we the people shake from our slumber, our sleepy slumber, if we wake up and start thinking critically, then that's the only way we're going to see the illusions. That's the only way we're going to see beyond the smoke and the mirrors. Because my question is, how can a few people control millions of people? And they do it. They started off early. They start the programming early and they just continue the program. And trust me, they're always on it, because anytime they feel like they need new program, they create something else. Just start looking at the programming tactics that started from when you was a child, a young youth, up until now. And you can progressively see that they create whenever they feel like they need something else to control the people, something else is created. And so the people has been programmed so long thus far that they just buy into it. The smoke and mirrors. This is how a few people can control millions. The spell. And look at the top part. Before they created this thing, they had to actually sit down and devise this plan. And what the plan that they devised was, they said it's time to cast a spell over humanity. And here's the spells. The spells are written out for you. It's part of your everyday life. It's part of your everyday thoughts. It's part of your everyday actions. And you ain't got to take my word for it. All you got to do is look at your life. Look at your life. Look at how you think. Look at how you believe. Look at what you feel. You know, so I ain't got to try to prove nothing. All you got to do is just look around, and don't just look at you. Look at the 5 people in each direction around you. Just look at 5 people in each direction around you and see. Look at their life. Look at the way they act. Look at how their actions. Look at what when you talk to them, see what they believe. And you tell me if they did not put a spell over humanity to keep humanity in a slumber where they cannot think for themselves, they do not wish to think for themselves, where they do not wish to critically think. So guess what? Now it's easy. It's been easy for years for them to do exactly what they want to do. And then with no pushback, who's going to stop them? And in my community, in my line, I always say, who going to check me, boo? Who going to check me? Do you think that your government system is saying that? Who gonna check me, boo? And they know it's not the American people, because look at what's going on. We got war. Look at the bottom picture on the left-hand side at the bottom. This is what's imminent for this country based on your government system. This is what's imminent. This is what they done. Did we, the people, did y'all vote for this? Did y'all have any kind of stake in war for the U.S.? So where does we, the people, come in at? This is what I'm trying to get you to see. This is imminent for the United States. War. Unlike anything we ever seen, and it's not going to be pleasant. And guess what? This is the time, and when this occurs, this is when you're going to be thinking. This is when the critical thinking going to come in. Like, how did we get here? You know, I didn't sign up for that. I didn't even know. I didn't even know that they was planning this. I didn't know this was going on. This is when the critical thinking going to come in, when you sit and smack dab in a war-ridden country. And guess what? That's going to be too little, too late. Your critical thinking is going to be too little, too late. The only thing you can do is kind of go forward from there. And then guess what? That's like going uphill. I mean, but you're going to have to do it. It ain't going to be nowhere around it. You still going to have to do it. So if you're going to have to do it then, why not try and do it now when it's less hard, when the hill is not so high? You know, the hill is pretty flat now. So we might as well get together, start critically thinking now, get some answers, come together, find some truths, create some solutions, and get some changes going on here. Shake off the spell. Shake off those spells. Because they are there. The illusions, the smoke and mirrors, they are there. And if you don't, you will continue to be dumb. You will continue to believe what they want you to believe. You will continue to act the way they want you to act. It's almost like the America have strings attached to them. Like everybody is puppets, you know. And when they want people to do stuff, they start moving the strings this way. When they want people to do something else, they start moving the strings that way. It's going to stay that way, guys, until we wake up. Until we start critically thinking, get together. And I'm going to say it again. There's over 300 million people in the world. How is it possible that just a few is attempting to control the 300 million? That's a lot of power. That's a lot of thoughts. That's a lot of action that we could implement if only we just get together, recognize, and start critically thinking. And that's all I have for this one. That's all I have for this particular image. And I'll say it again. We got to get over the spells, over the hypnotic trance, over the programming. We got to get over before we go under. They already had us under a spell for long enough. It's time that we shake it off and start critically thinking. Until the next video, I'll say Ochite.